Welcome to the Reach for Reading Kindergarten Training Session. My name is Denise Detmar, National Educational Consultant for National Geographic Learning, and I will be assisting you in your training for today. By now, you should have viewed the Getting to Know Reach for Reading overview for kindergarten through 6th grade. If you have not, I suggest beginning with that module and coming back to this kindergarten session afterward. This session will specifically discuss Reach for Reading in kindergarten, and we will use Unit 2 as our example for today. Our session agenda today includes reviewing the purpose of each kindergarten resource component, understanding the instructional design of a week in Reach for Reading in kindergarten, learning strategies to differentiate instruction to meet students' needs, and I will also help you recognize the benefits of the digital resources for both teachers and students. Reach for Reading holds fast to a thematic plan and addresses grade-level content standards in addition to foundational skills development, grade-level reading, and language arts standards. You will find authentic literature worth reading and rereading that will engage your readers, direct science and social studies content connections, rigorous standards-based instruction to meet the Common Core, and differentiation for all learners in your classroom. The resources pages in the front of each unit show you how these are divided. It's looked at in whole group, small group, phonics, and independent practice. In kindergarten, learning stations are provided, including multiple options for vocabulary and language, cross-curricular, reading and writing, word work, and more. These are found on the pages before the weekly instruction begins. Learning stations are great for rotations while the teacher meets with small groups for differentiation, guided reading, reteaching, or literature circles. Reteaching lessons and activities are provided before the weekly instruction in the areas of phonological awareness, phonics, high-frequency words, comprehension, and more. Reach for Reading is based on a rotational model. As we walk through a week, you will see whole group, learning station, and leveled reading activities. A model day would have whole group instruction to start the day, while the teacher is meeting with small groups during leveled reading time. The students are at learning stations and engaged in independent workstations. You will then bring the students back for whole group time to wrap up the day. Keep in mind that time frames will vary depending upon your schedule, along with what types of stations, components, and technology capabilities you have in your school. Again, leveled reading and learning station times occur simultaneously. Now we'll walk through Unit 2, beginning with the unit launch. The unit launch can be introduced on day 1 or a separate day before the day 1 instruction. As you see the arrow here, each day begins with circle time to get students active and engaged in the upcoming content of the lesson. Following circle time on day 1, you'll begin the introduction. Build students' content knowledge by introducing the big question and sharing the build background video. The kindergarten videos do not have sound to provide an opportunity to discuss with the class as they view the visuals. After the video, students will begin the unit project. Family newsletters are available online in 8 different languages to take home, and in the right margin, you'll see a list of contents for take-home folders. The next part in the kindergarten Reach for Reading instructional path is for the students to listen and analyze a read aloud. Notice the objectives box program resources and materials on the left top side of the Teacher's Edition page, and Common Core standards across the top of the right page. Teachers will read the selection twice on day 1. Begin by introducing the book and identifying the purpose for reading. The first read is truly intended for students to listen and enjoy. During the second read, teachers will reread and analyze the selection together using the red square boxes to direct discussion and answer questions. The read aloud shown here is found only in the Teacher's Edition and is designed to be read to the students as they listen and think about the text. The next part of day 1 is to learn the academic vocabulary. Use vocabulary routine 1 to introduce the words. Next, it's time to discuss with an academic talk activity and have students write from sources using a language frame. Opportunities for differentiation are built right into your Teacher's Edition. You will see these differentiation opportunities throughout the lessons. Differentiation strategies are provided for English learners, students with special needs, students that are above level, and more. As we continue on the Reach for Reading instructional path in kindergarten, it's time for instruction in the foundational skills, phonological awareness, phonics, and high-frequency words. Begin with instruction in phonological awareness. Next, teach the phonics with the sound and letter combinations using the decoding routine that is shown here. Continue the phonics instruction with the Alpha Chant book. Students have an opportunity to show learning using the Practice Master pages. And finally, teach the high-frequency words using the High-Frequency Routine 1. Remember, the routines are found in the Best Practices tab of your Unit 1 and 2 Teacher's Edition or online in the Professional Development link. Once you've completed the foundational skills instruction for day 1, it's time to review before wrapping up the day. Review the letters that you have introduced. Review the letter sounds that you have practiced with your students. And review the high-frequency words that have been introduced on that day. Then end the day with a wrap-up. This is a good place to pause the session and take some time to look specifically at the day 1 instruction and then browse through the instruction for days 2 through 5. I suggest you look through the resources and instruction aligned to the categories listed on this slide for especially days 2 through 5. You may even wish to take some notes or print this out. Although we will not go through each days 2 through 5 in specific detail as we did for day 1, we will look at what is similar and what is different on the days ahead for days 2 through 5 instruction. Press play when you are ready to continue this session. Welcome back to the session. Let's look at the new instruction that you noticed on day 2. Some of the new instruction not included on day 1 includes the introduction of the content vocabulary instead of academic vocabulary using a vocabulary routine and a page from the Big Book. The first read of the Big Book contains questions for listening and enjoying the story, and these are found on day 2. Checking and reteaching opportunities are found on the Teacher's Edition page, and also instruction for letter formation using the Alpha Chant book and Practice Master pages are included for additional practice. If you haven't done so yet, pause the session again and look through some of the Read on Your Own books in kindergarten to get a feel for those texts. What new instruction did you notice on day 3? You may have noticed the second read of the Big Book selection. Remember that the questions for this read are found on day 2. Here the questions speak specifically to rereading and analyzing. The introduction of the comprehension skill or strategy with a practice master page for students to show their knowledge is included on day 3 as well. On day 4, you will notice that there are 2 reads of the second story in the Big Book. The first read is to listen and enjoy, and the second read is to reread and analyze the story. You'll also see the instruction of the read on your own book, including previewing, learning the concepts of print, and going through the first read on day 4. Day 5 is specifically for review. Did you notice a review of the weekly skills on day 5? You may have noticed a vocabulary review, phonological awareness, and also high-frequency word review. Day 5 also includes the second read of the Read on Your Own book. So what is consistent each day in Reach for Reading Kindergarten? You may have noticed that circle time begins every single day in kindergarten, and vocabulary is taught in every single day. Academic talk activities are consistent each day in kindergarten, and foundational skills instruction with phonics, high-frequency words, and phonological awareness is consistent each day as well. Writing is also consistent each day in kindergarten and is typically found at the end of each day's lessons. Differentiation is also included, and as you see here, can be used for English learners, below-level students, special needs, and above-level students. Wrap-up also happens every day in kindergarten. The Kindergarten Writing Project is introduced in the Week 2, Day 5 Daily Planner and continues Week 3 and 4 on Day 5. For more training on the writing program, please view the module labeled Writing and Assessment in Reach for Reading. At the end of every unit, you will find an English Learner Extension activity for students to continue developing language in their kindergarten. An oral language project rubric is found online for teachers to assess this activity and get more ideas for students. This completes the whole group time section in kindergarten. For more training on leveled reading time and learning station time in kindergarten, you will want to view the module on small group reading. You may also wish to use Jennifer Turner's monograph, Orchestrating Instruction, to connect to the research and to provide further clarity on the how-tos of reading block rotation. At the very end of the unit, you will find a unit wrap-up. A wrap-up brings students back to the big question as they share their ideas, which include a variety of ways for students to show their learning. That includes talking about the big question, viewing the unit project, and looking at some of the extensions that can be done at home or at school. MyNG Connect is our companion website for Reach for Reading. Students and teachers can access the website for lesson planning, games, family newsletters, the digital library, professional development, and more. Next, as the arrow shows, you may wish to view the module on bringing it all together with technology for more information on our award-winning website. This is found in the professional development link and will also further your knowledge of Reach for Reading in kindergarten. Our objectives for this session included reviewing the program organization in kindergarten Reach for Reading, understanding the instructional design of Reach for Reading specifically in kindergarten, learning strategies to differentiate instruction to meet students' needs and where to find them, and also understanding where to access the digital resources for both teachers and students. Again, our overall objective in this session was to increase your knowledge of Reach for Reading so you are feeling more prepared to implement in the classroom. Thank you so much for joining us today for the Kindergarten Reach for Reading training session. My name is Denise Detmar, and I hope you have found this session beneficial for you and your students. I hope you will utilize more of the webinars that we have included as part of your professional development in getting to know Reach for Reading better.